Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Today we have another Polysseum highlights for you. This month it's Bardur. We played Bardur in December last year. My name is Adam. You might know me from Polychamps as Gato Azul and also as MijiTube. And as always, I have fantastic games with guests with me. We'll be watching some games, but first the guests. So they are very they are from the Polytopia pro scene, very good players. So let's meet them. Hello guys. So we have FERRIKSTER today with us, and also MEISTERLAMPE. MEISTERLAMPE is probably more popular because he plays Polysseum, and a lot of people who will be watching this stream probably got MEISTERLAMPE as I say, because MEISTERLAMPE barely loses anything. So hello.
Hi
How
everyone.
Are you?
Hi.
Yeah, so great to have you here today with us. Like I said, we'll be featuring Bardur games. So to give people some time to tune in, let's discuss Bardur a bit. They are so they used to be one of, if not the strongest game in the tribe, right? The path of the ocean has changed that. So your thoughts?
Yeah, so right now, Bardur is still a turn 0 tribe, of course. So they are generally on the stronger side. They obviously got hit by the update, by the Path of the Ocean update, but that one also happened like 15 months ago already.
Could you explain maybe why? What happened? Why they were nerfed?
So the main thing that hit Bardur was that the price of lumber huts was increased from 2 stars to 3 stars. And with Bardur starting with the hunting tech, forestry was and often still is a common first tech for them. And nowadays, you often see organization or riding or maybe fishing instead of forestry as the first tech. But that definitely was one of the main reasons that turned Bardur in one of the weaker turn 0 tribes.
And a question to you, FERRIKSTER, because so lumber huts was one thing, but the other was
I want to remind us all that this isn't even the first time that Bardur has been nerfed, and Bardur used to be even stronger than that back when Chop was still 2 stars. Like there was a whole like year or two of the Polytopia meta where Bardur was the most powerful tribe, like unquestionably the most powerful tribe for at least a couple of versions, because in the early game they could start with hunting. They have a lot of trees, and every tree that you would chop would give you 2 stars. So it'd be very common to be able to get like a first giant on like turn 4 or sometimes faster. So Bardur has taken a lot of hits, and it's still a super solid tribe, mainly because, as Meister said, it's still turn 0. You can still get your workshop on turn 0. But between Chop getting reduced to 1 star instead of 2, and then months later, or maybe a year or 2 later, I guess, the lumber hut nerf hit them pretty hard. So second time nerfed, but still an excellent tribe, very versatile.
Yeah, I think there were even more instances where they got hit because originally they also had like 75% animal rate or something like that.
Oh, that I did not even know. Yeah. That was before my time.
Yeah, so it was like absolutely crazy. You just get the border growth in the capital with the 2-star shops, and you can just immediately go crazy.
And let's discuss about the rider roads because it was also a very strong strategy with Bardur. So not only popping giants, but also using riders to dominate your enemies.
Yeah, so basically I'd say there are 2 main military approaches for Bardur. They kind of got the option to choose between riders and archers. Often you even want to get both. And the advantage of riding, of course, is that riding tags into roads, and roads is like a very crucial tag in Polytopia, because the extra range of your units allows you to outrange the enemy units or transport your giants faster. And then there's also archery, which you can also basically get as your first tag since you start with hunting. And archery gives your warriors a defense bonus, so now they can survive 3 hits from the other early game units instead of 2. And archers are great at like keeping opponent's city completely unusable, because if you have 2 archers sitting next to their city, they basically cannot train anything in it.
Any words from you about the Bardur strategy, FERRIKSTER?
I mean, Meister cites Rider Roads, but Rider Roads is like a premier choice for any of the human tribes. I would, unlike on lakes or dry or what have you. I feel like Bardur specific strategies, like Meister said, going for fast archery is really good. Or the other option I would say would be to rush giants with math, and then go with like giant push backed with catapults, so that, you know, one of the main defenses against giants is often to get your own giants, right? To pop those on your frontline cities and push the advancing giants back. But, you know, if you've gotten your giants using math as opposed to like construction or forges or something, then your giants can be backed with catapults, and then, like, you know, a catapult, 2 catapult hits, 1 warrior lets a freshly popped giant, puts it low enough that a giant can siege. So when you're advancing your first wave of giants and it's backed with catapults, you can sometimes just overwhelm the front line a lot more cleanly.
So summarizing, it's either archery or rider roads. What about the late game? What's the Bardur's primary strategy to finish off the opponent?
Well, I think if they went in with a lot of with mathematics, because of all of the trees, and once you've got your sawmills up, I'd say after Rider Road, you pick up trade, get some markets. Then you can just afford, well, every tech, but then you just, you know, spam out a ton of giants, a lot of catapults, and some knights, and just through good micro, you try to advance like that. I would say, like, Bardur is definitely a land-based army tribe, and it's very, I would say, giant and catapult focused, more so than a lot of the other tribes.
Anything to add, MEISTERLAMPE?
Yeah, so mainly I would like to add that you can't be that specific about like a late game strategy, especially for a generic tribe like Bardur, because basically after you get your giants with mathematics, you have like all the options in the game basically. Maybe you got like a good force.
Yeah, but I would argue so. You don't see a lot of, you know, cloaks with Bardur. It's rather going knights.
I think cloaks can be good, especially on lakes where you want strategy anyways. Since Bardur has a good fruit rate, you usually get organization. And if you're also playing on lakes or archipelago, then you probably want strategy for defenders for higher HP boats. And then if you have a good option, because for example, you put your opponent's city, you have like 2 catapults or a bunch of archers next to them, and maybe they pop the giant in that city earlier, then it's like a free target for a cloak. So I wouldn't rule out cloaks. In fact, I have used them to great success in one game this month.
Yeah, there will be like a hint on a wink wink, where there will be a recorded game and you'll see cloaks there. So if you are interested in seeing cloaks in Bardur environments, there will be a game soon on our YouTube channel. Any last thoughts? Some tips maybe for new players who want to start playing Bardur, and yeah, what do you recommend? What should they focus on if they want to be really excel in Bardur?
So in the early game, I would definitely make sure that you always take the workshop in the first turn. And then usually you almost always want to train another warrior in turn 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you kind of decide based on which resources you get, because there's a lot of variability with the resources you get with Bardur. Obviously, getting to animals in every city is great, but Bardur doesn't have that high of an animal rate. So you often need like organization or forestry. You should mainly adjust to what you get. If you have like lots of forests, great sawmill spot, then you go mathematics. Otherwise, you maybe go riding, or if you know that you have to fight your opponent early and there are lots of forests in the way, then you go archery. It's mainly about readjusting.
Mm-hmm. FERRIKSTER?
No, I agree with Meister. It's a flexible tribe, and in Polytopia, the map generation is pretty random. Like there's some things that are fairly constant, and there are tendencies that you'll get, but it's not like you can say specifically, "Oh yes, follow this build until turn 5," because you don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes your first city can be delayed until like turn 4 or 5, even based on just discovery.
So be flexible as well.
Yeah, be flexible, be ready to adjust. But if you're new to the tribe, I would always also start with turn 0 workshop.
Okay, so let's stop the discussion here. If you want to learn more about Bardur, there is a link to our Wikipedia, and yeah, there's more about them there. So go ahead and check this link. Okay, so adding the games. Yeah. So
all right,
the stage is yours.
We've got 4 games here. These are highlights from the recent Bardur Polysseum. So this is a live format, meaning that these games are played on a timer. You start out with about 90. You start out with 90 seconds to make your first move, and any time that you save transfers over to your next turn. And you also get a little bit of extra time for every city and every unit that you've got. So this is all played on a clock. So maybe we're not going to see the most calculated plays, but we do see 2 players spawning in the west corner. We've got Paychod. What was his name? Hang on a second.
And Liberator.
Liberator. Right. And spawning in the south, we have Vorce, who we've seen a lot of in the past, and who I think we're going to see a lot more of, because he's one of the ones who helps get us these games and selects and organizes all of this for us.
Yeah, kudos to Vorce.
Yeah, also pretty standard stuff for both here. Both opting for organization because they needed to upgrade their cities.
Getting very, very
really fighting here.
Liberator gets the city in the center, which is huge. He gets his first Explorer. I'm just going to turn off shared fog really quick so we can see exactly what it is that he sees. And it actually picks up the lighthouse, which is always nice.
And also really good vision on Vorce. And now he only needs mathematics for a giant. Yeah,
Vorce gets a veteran swordsman ruin on the front line. That's amazing, and it even pushes him in to get a meeting.
Yeah, this is very hard to deal with. The Liberator immediately chops everything in that city because he knows he's going to lose it. So yeah, that's also something you should always do. If you're about to lose a city, chop everything so you at least get the stars for the Vorce and your opponent can't use them.
Yeah, Liberator gets his first giant via mathematics. I think that's a good choice, because if he's lost this and he has this choke to defend, having some ranged units will make it really hard for Vorce to advance further, especially because Vorce now is ahead on cities 2-1. Yeah, meanwhile, Vorce goes for a Rider Roads approach. His Explorer misses the lighthouse. That's typical. Rhodes is going to give Vorce a lot more flexibility. And with him being able to outproduce, Liberator definitely has to play really carefully.
But now let's take a look at this turn, right?
Okay, let me switch over to Shared fog off so we can see what Vorce sees.
Yeah, basically what Vorce wants to do is get Siege of the Veteran Swordsman in the capital. He already sets it up with the rider.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Veteran Swordsman could just move in. Is it an unbreakable siege? It's not unbreakable yet, because Giant plus Warrior can kill a Veteran Swordsman. But it would put the Liberator into a really rough spot.
Well, there's an unbreakable siege for Vorce for sure, but he definitely has to move everything exactly right. If Veteran Swordsman moves to this mountain and then sieges, the only units in range are these two warriors. He has enough to afford another road to get in, and he can actually clear with these two units. He can clear this and then just tap. He'd have an unbreakable siege.
Yeah, right. If he also hits the warrior in the bottom, then the Liberator is only left with a 40 HP giant and 5 HP warrior. And that would be unbreakable, correct?
Yeah, 40 Jai only does 14 damage to a swordsman. But since this is all played live, it can be hard to calculate all of that out. So Vorce does miss an unbreakable siege, and we're going to go into this game a little bit deeper, I guess.
Yeah, I texted with him, and he said he flopped in this situation. So
yeah, also here like some misplays while upgrading the cities, where he made like the roads too early, then he couldn't afford the level 3 upgrade, and then probably also misses out on more upgrades. But let's see how this goes on. Like right here, I would like to see the Liberator to just use Spark of Fortune, right? Like he popped his giant but never used it yet. Like for example, you can go mining here, pick up a mine and place Spark of Fortune, and you have 3 giants against riders. It should be like really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he couldn't. I think he was 1 star short of that, right?
No, he tried to catapult. That's why he was.
Oh no, 18 stars. It would have been 14 for. Oh wait, no, he has climbing.
Yeah,
so
it's
only
13 for the mine, and then you also just place the Park of Fortune for a giant.
Oh yeah, so he could have absolutely done that. It can be hard to use all of your resources efficiently, though, when you're under time.
Alright, the Liberator tries to retake the city, and it also looks like that's probably going to work out for him. So that's some good news at least.
Yeah, Vorce finally getting his first giant here on turn 11. It's quite a bit behind Liberators, and he goes for a border growth on this city. Do you think he's doing that just to get access to the water, or just to get access to extra trees so that he can make more than 1 giant?
I think it's definitely for water access. Like, if you go back before the border growth, he had absolutely no way to enter that lake, because like his border is right outside of it. And like the only chance to get into the lake is if he finds a city in the northeast. Like he knows there is one because he sees the fish.
Mm-hmm.
And resources only spawn in only spawn 2 tiles around cities. But if he wants to have any chance to enter the lake, he has to take the border growth.
Yeah, it looks like Liberator already is a bit ahead of Vorce in terms of getting his access to the other side of the map, on the other side of the water. What do you think about his decision to have moved from here to go for the ruin before going for the village? Do you think that's the right order?
I mean, he has a warrior in a port that can take the village, so I think that's not a bad decision.
Liberator goes for a capture, and Vorce loses 1 star per turn from his capital. I like the way he's sneaking his 2 units across, trying to get to this bit of fog in the lighthouse that his explorer very conveniently missed.
Yeah, second giant for Vorce as well. Like the text picked up here are like, let's say it's interesting to take archery here, because, or did he get that from a ruin?
Yeah, I felt like he didn't need archery because Liberator already has mathematics, and with catapults already, I feel like there's definitely ways to abuse the terrain, especially here where we have this small lake that's exactly 2 tiles across everywhere. Like if he's able to place a catapult over here, or even where this one currently is, it's very hard for like anything. Like it's difficult for an archer to get itself into range because you'd have to get all the way to this tile or all the way here. This is like a very defensible position to have a catapult. So that would be, I would probably have skipped archery as a Liberator here. Vorce goes for a nice bounce off this warrior to pick up the lighthouse. And fishing and gets into the water also. Liberator makes a very forward catapult here, which makes it dangerous for Vorce's giants. And I think that's what ends up prompting Vorce to go into archery as a counter for catapults.
I don't like that he moved the other catapult back though. Like he could have just moved both forward for like maximum pressure.
Yeah, catapult here would even have been able to shut down production at Vorce's west base. Like he could leave it here and just always just shoot anything that gets made, never do anything else, or even just sit there and threaten to shoot it, just to constrict Vorce down to 2 bases of unit production. Vorce getting another lighthouse and another giant.
Oh, well, that's a useful part, but it got the giant at least.
Yep. Liberator's definitely taking
still
control of the water.
The Park of Fortune used for the Liberator kind of bothers me.
Oh, it's still not out? Oh,
Yeah.
he could have saved a lot of money on an upgrade doing that then, yeah. Maybe he's just waiting to spawn another giant. He could do it this turn very easily with a mine and his monument if he so chose. Instead goes for units, which is fine too. What do you think about the way, actually, let me go back a second. What do you think about the way Liberator moved from this position? Because I thought this was interesting where Vorce has his 3 giants moved up and Liberator has his 2. How would you have played this like defense of this front line? Would you have defended this front line?
Well, he can. Yeah, it's not the easiest position, I guess. But he could play off of a defense boost. The problem is that he only has the 1 catapult right now, and the catapult can also be threatened by Vorce's archers. So maybe you're just forced to move back. But he obviously wants to use the catapult to shoot 1 archer. It's like a tricky position. Basically, I would say that you always had to train another catapult behind instead of a warrior, because it's like a position you can't really defend, but if you move back, you also lose.
Yeah,
this warrior does nothing.
Yeah, this is a difficult spot, and the warrior maybe wasn't the best buy. I would probably have pulled the catapult back 1 and made a second. And just maybe healed the giant here, even though I think it'll probably be killed, because otherwise, if he kills it with enough units left over, he'd be able to threaten the catapults with an archer. But this is a tough spot that Liberator put himself in based on the units that he made last turn. So I guess instead he decides to instead prioritize gaining water control. I don't know why he sacrificed this warrior and didn't sacrifice this one.
Not sure, maybe he calculated a specific interaction or not. Yeah, he's definitely gaining control over the lake. So
yeah, Vorce only has his 1 port and his, I guess, really only 3 bases of production. So if Liberator just continues to prioritize water, he will definitely be able to hold that down.
Yeah, like he really just has to defend on land.
Yeah, and he's getting all of the extra cities over here also. I don't think there's anything Vorce can do to contest those.
Yeah, but Veteran Swordsman also nullified now that there are no support units left.
Yeah, good positioning of his of Liberator's archers also. Oh, look at that!
Okay.
He uses finally uses that monument that's been bothering Meister since turn 5.
Yeah.
Turn 18.
Gets his border growth and then gets a park. So I read in the notes, right, about what happened here and why in this position you would get a park instead of a giant. Meister, do you have any ideas why you would get a park here instead of a giant?
Yeah, basically, if you run out of time after upgrading a city, the game just chooses one randomly for you. And in this case, that happened to be a park, which is not really what you want to see in multiplayer games, especially might games where you have to kill your opponent. And especially in the front line.
Yeah, Liberator maybe could have waited if he was out of time. If you're down, if you're playing a Polysseum and you're down to 2 seconds and you're considering popping a giant, if you're not sieged, maybe just wait. Because if he had saved his killer monument and popped this next turn after being sieged, he'd still be able to pop the giant and push off. He would even have been able to chip the giant twice with or once, I guess, with full health catapult. Then he'd be able to push the giant off with his, and that would have bought him some extra time. But it also would have prevented him from getting a park this time.
Yeah, you could also discuss like the decision how he upgraded the city besides that. Like I think the border growth was a nice idea because you deny like the roads and so on.
Yeah. I actually did like that decision. I thought border growthing this city made a lot of sense, and I think that's what I would have done also. It also gets you like, access to replacement resources and additional water access if you need it. Like if he was able to hold this city and get a giant, once he's able to push Vorce back, he'd be able to port his units a lot closer to the front line, which might help him close the game out more. Of course, that would be predicated on him, hanging on to the base. The important first step was not losing the city.
Exactly.
So now in his turn, he can't quite.
Like he can hold it.
Can he pop a giant here? Like, was there an available unsiege for this? I see.
Well, he could have if he placed a sawmill on a different tile instead of the level 1 spot, maybe.
I guess that's true. Well, what about like fish, animal, hut, and 2 ports?
2, 5, 8, 11, 18. No, it's 20 stars. Yeah, it would work.
Wait, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh yeah,
24 stars. So he could have actually popped a giant this turn just by taking the remaining resources and putting 2 ports.
Yeah.
But like you have to keep in mind, like the turn before he already ran out of time. So he doesn't start with too much time either.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like he just decides to give it up and upgrade the other cities.
Yeah, he's decided to just focus on naval. I mean, in his defense, if he has really good naval control, he might be able to retake the city eventually because it is kind of accessible, like by bombers. Not that we have that tech yet, but that might have been the thought process of, okay, I don't need the city now. I'll just take it back later.
He might be thinking about taking it with the catapults, archer, and the giant, or something like that.
Yeah, he can definitely siege this turn.
Oh, well.
I also don't really agree with him having moved this raft into this city border because he was going to lose the city. He should have just moved it to one square, one tile north of that. He might have been able to use that to get an extra shot in.
But I think he also had like a really easy re-siege here if he just uses 2 catapults, archer and giant to siege, but instead he just decides to use the other units instead.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, 2 catapults. Archer moves back, shoots, and then the giant does siege. Although, and I don't know if he would have been able to calculate this, Vorce could have unsieged by popping a giant for 24 stars.
Yeah.
Because Liberator forgot to chop his city. Here He remembered that earlier on when he chopped the first time Vorce took it. The second time Vorce took it, he didn't remember to chop those trees. So Vorce actually can pop another giant there himself, especially because I think he also has the added road connection. So actually, he would only need the one port.
Yeah, and here I think it's the breaking point because Liberator is slowly losing the naval superiority.
I think the naval is still fine. The main problem is that he's fighting next to the coast where Vorce uses the archers.
Yeah.
That the siege also doesn't hold this turn, so... And like his catapults also are like slowly dying.
Yeah, with Liberator being out of giants in the front line, his catapults are very exposed, so they're probably going to be dying a little faster than slowly. He doesn't retreat, though, from his position. He just kind of holds ground. And I think that's the point. That was like the last chance for him to have pulled back. At this point, Vorce is just closing in all around him. There's way too many units on land.
Yeah, like I like to preach that if you have the option to go naval or the option to go land, you should almost always go for land, because the land units are just cheaper if you consider like how they trade against naval units.
Yeah, and it was in this position that the Liberator resigned the game.
Yep. GG's.
And like especially if you don't get like the like if your capital is next to the water, then going water is better because you get port connections. But if you don't even have that, you usually want to prioritize land more. Unless you have like your position on land locked down, there can't really be anything done. Then you probably want to consider going onto the water, because like bombers late game can be really strong. I'm not sure if we're going to see that in any of the games we're reviewing today.
No, I don't think so. Okay, let's jump into the next game.
All right, let me open this up. There we go.
So who do we have here?
All right, so who do we have here? Oh, spawning in the south, we have our boy Vorce. And the east corner spawn, roughly northeast, this is Youve YouTube. Youve YouTube, by the way, is a YouTuber, a pretty new account. Started making content, but he makes Polytopia videos. He's churning them out at about a rate of like 10, 15 per month. So I guess if you're watching this stream and you like Polytopia content, which you should because you're here, give him a follow at over on YouTube.
The link will be in the description.
Or right here on YouTube, because we're here, right?
Yeah.
What I have to say about these spawns, like look at the fruits that
I know.
has here.
Yeah, Youve has a very fruity spawn, for sure. So definitely gonna be looking at organization first. And Vorce gets kind of an early advantage, I would say, by reaching this forward city. Although I guess since Youve doesn't see it, he's gonna pull back to the village that he can get.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt him too much. And crucially, we also know here, Youve knows that Vorce took that city. And that's why he decides to take an explorer here.
Yeah. Explorer going for a fast lighthouse.
Yeah, like usually you don't like if the explorer starts going back. But here, the extra population from the lighthouse actually allowed him to upgrade his capital again. Yeah,
that definitely helps jumpstart his economy a little. And he had really pretty complete vision of everything that Vorce was doing right from the early game. So he has a little bit of extra time. While we're still in the early game and there's not that much time pressure yet, he has a little more time to strategize and plan. Vorce, meanwhile, finally seeing the opponent's border, loses his forward warrior.
Okay, so
but
let's talk about the decision to go riding here again.
Sure.
Because I was thinking he had 11 stars, I believe. So you can either go riding and then make warrior and a rider, or just a rider, or you can go archery get the defense bonus for the archer, for the warriors, and make an archer. And like, especially because you can only make like one tier 2 unit either way, I would always choose archery here. Especially with like this aggressive position that you already had, right? You have like this path for the warriors to the city of Vorce, where you get defense bonus all the time. So it's like really oppressive if he gets a defense boosted warrior next to the city and trains an archer.
I thought it was actually okay for him to go riders. I know we're disagreeing a little bit here, but I thought it was fine because there's not really that many trees on the front line. And if Youve was to chop this tree on his like, you know, the west tile here of his C2, he would have like pretty clean access to this front city. And this is in a bit of a choke, so like it's true that you could, you know, kind of get a surround with archers, but I thought that riding was an okay decision here also, especially if he was considering like going for mathematics anyway, because he's going to have to go forestry for his he can get a pop growth giant here with just forestry and the org that he already has. So I feel like if he was going to go for fast math, then I thought it was okay for him to.
Do you think maths is a play here? I think if you go riding, you should just go for the capital giant, and then because you take riding, you can get roads faster, and then you reach a city faster with the giant.
Yeah, that would absolutely work too. I'm not sure if that's what he ends up doing. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, he goes riding and gets his first rider. Population ruin from Vorce. I normally am not a fan of population ruins this early because I always feel like I'd rather have like stars or a tech that'll help me get more economy faster. But I think that actually makes his giant here a lot more plausible, because without that, it was going to be really hard for Vorce to get his first giant up.
Yeah, that's fair, but like the annoying part is that he already leveled up his capital once, and now he's not really gaining anything for a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of hanging population.
And what did you think about him retreating with 5 health warrior here? Because this kind of bothered me, to be honest.
Where did this retreat from? I mean, what was the other option? Let me see.
I would probably just heal, because if you move back, you're not getting any value anyways.
Oh yeah. And it's not like Vorce would have been able to attack the 7 HP warrior either. Yeah, I can definitely agree with
more
that.
Pressure onto Vorce.
I mean, he could even have gone for a siege here by moving this warrior forward, chipping with a rider, and then like, you know, sacrificing his 5 HP warrior and then getting a siege. Then take his last warrior and tap this one. It would actually force Vorce to unsiege by using archer first and then unsieging with a 5 HP warrior, which he could very easily resiege with a rider.
And you could bounce the rider deep into the territory. Well, not that deep, but I think deep enough that Vorce would have some problems in the following turn to unsiege.
Yeah, like he definitely could have been more aggressive here, and I definitely agree that he should have been. Instead, he just goes for kind of like the free easy kill. I feel like maybe you go for the free kill out of instinct rather than kind of like taking time in the early game to calculate a position. He's probably just trying to use rider roads in like a more standard, almost a defensive fashion, where you just use it to deny your opponent from and try to just get units for free near the front line. But yeah, there was nothing else in range that would have made Vorce very uncomfortable.
Yeah, like that's what I think is a crucial part you have to understand about like using riders early as well, is that you have to spot the opportunities where you can get like a big lead. Because otherwise you're investing into like a military unit, but if you never really punish your opponent for like the more greedy decisions, right? Like riders get more immediate value here because the cities are spread a little. So the archers from Vorce take longer to reach the fight, but now Vorce already got like his archers in position. He was able to retake the forest. Now he's like forcing Youve to kill his warriors on forest, and now he can just kill it back with the warrior on the forest. So those are like all like micro interactions that go into Vorce's favor.
How do you feel about this mass chop that we've got going on over here? Youve takes math in this position.
It's tricky because like he knows that he's probably getting laked, right? He has only 3 cities on his side, so he probably wants a fast giant. But what I disagree with is that, as you're going to see, he won't use his Park of Fortune to level up his other cities to make more units. Like if you go for this pressure,
Yeah.
you have to full commit, in my opinion.
Yeah, Meister does not like it when you do not use your monuments, guys. I would actually probably in this position. I think I would have delayed.
Yeah, I would have
the
waited
giant.
a turn as well.
Yeah, like because chopping this city like this, you can like basically never upgrade it. And that means it's just adding so much to your tech cost, and not really providing enough value out of it. Like taking forestry, I think, was probably the right decision here. But rather than upgrade the capital with those 9 stars, I mean, you could even, I don't know if
I
level
wouldn't
3
do
in
the
this
level
space is
3
good.
upgrade.
No, but I would definitely have workshopped this and maybe just made 1 rider and just saved a little or saved up for next turn. Like not having a workshop is for so long. Not having a workshop that's too much for me. I can't.
Yeah, you could probably just get the workshop, and then the following turn you get the capital giant, and then you use the Park of Fortune for a level 3 upgrade, and then you still got stars for new riders.
Yeah, I like that a lot more than this basically giant rush.
Like now he got a giant, but no support units for it, basically.
Yeah, and Vorce also gets that free rider kill and gets all of this vision. I guess there's not much to see, right? Because the giant's already here, but and then Vorce goes for an explorer that I definitely would not have.
Yeah, he needed the lighthouse to get the capital giant here, but because there was a mountain, he couldn't reach it.
So now Youve is kind of stalled. He heals his giant. He's making some units in the front, but he doesn't have any way of advancing right now. I mean, he could have pushed his giant forward anyway, I guess, and tried to make riders behind it to clean up the archers. Although Vorce ends up pulling back anyway, and also going riding.
Finally, roads. But like, I really hate, right? He still has not used his Park of Fortune.
Yeah, he could have level 3'd. He could have level 3'd, afforded 1 more road, and then gone for a siege here. Like we've been fighting over this base since like turn 4. Not once has it actually gotten sieged, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and like the extra stars you just get from level 3 upgrades, right? Like level 3 upgrades are like one of the best upgrades in the game, because they're like pretty cheap, and you also immediately get 5 stars back, so you can use them, so you can reuse them immediately to get like even more value. Okay, so he was like saving the Park of Fortune to make a giant the whole time, but I'm not sure if that was the right decision. I'd probably prefer him just getting more units on the board to push faster.
It's such a small area. He finally gets the capture though on this base, and that actually. Do you think that Youve is favored in this position now?
Yeah, I like Youve's position a lot more. They both aren't on the lake, and like as you can see, like Vorce has 3 cities. Not very good tools to get more cities. They both have like 1 unit walking around the lake that is eventually going to capture some cities for each of them.
Do you like this? Do you like this giant push that Vorce did right here?
Oh yeah, it was a bit disappointing. Like I'm not sure. I probably would have moved my archer northwest to make sure that I get pushed into a good direction.
Yeah, it does look like it was gonna push north, right? Like 100%.
Well, if you push north, you get pushed northwest instead, if north is blocked. Well, that's a very annoying population.
Yeah, population ruin after we used our precious monument. How close are we to killer? Oh, we're 1 kill away. Actually, he could Yeah, if he would have been able to pick up one more kill this turn, he could have popped a third giant from his capital.
What do you think about archery here?
What do you mean? I mean, he already had it.
No, Youve just got archery.
Oh, you've got arch. Oh, I did not notice that. Yeah, that would not be my favorite like spend for this situation. But like his options for macroing his bases are pretty limited here. Like math, I guess, could have gotten him. Well, no, the space is already connected. I don't know. Fishing, I think. I think in this situation, I actually probably would have gone fishing. But in the same way that him hanging on to a monument for like 8 turns kills you, it kills me that he has not upgraded this city since like turn 6 or something when he captured it. It's been providing 1 star of income, and it could have been providing 3 stars of income for like
I think he got it in turn 5.
This city has been killing me. Like, so yeah, I probably would have gone for fishing. I think getting water access would have been nice. Like Vorce wouldn't have seen it coming. Although I imagine Vorce probably has it in the back of his mind that it's a possibility, because it always is. And like from Vorce's perspective, since he doesn't see this, he probably imagines that Youve has a very healthy economy. Goes for an unsiege. He's using his riders pretty well here. I mean, could have made more roads to snipe this unit, but it's not really necessary. And I think that would have gotten him... He got his killer monument this turn, didn't he? Yes, but he's hanging on to it because, you know, he knows Meister's going to love that. Goes for a giant siege. Free Spirit Chivalry.
Does his opponent have vision on the knight?
32 stars here. Yeah, he could have gone for basically anything. Going for chivalry is kind of like he's definitely hoping to pull something out. His opponent, oh my gosh, and Capital Ruin has complete view of it. So he can see that it's there, and you should definitely know that it's coming. But he does have to unsiege this giant.
Yeah.
So can he do that without endangering himself too much? I would say here, I think what you do is you attack with both giants first, or maybe Archer first. Attack with some giants, kill with a rider, and retreat. That way, you don't really have as many things so forward.
So you wouldn't unsiege with the giant?
No, I don't think I would unsiege with the giant here, because then his giant is going to get a hit on something valuable.
Yeah, sure.
Probably be able to siege. If you unsiege with your giants first and kill with with a rider, then you can leave the space empty, and that kind of makes it a little more awkward, because like as Vorce, would you advance a giant onto a city where there's 2 other giants and a bunch of support units standing there? Like it would be really difficult to take this position. So that's definitely the right idea. Youve does that same thing, pushes his rider forward. I don't know. I probably would have retreated it and maybe not bunched up my units so much.
Yeah, but why does he leave all these units like, you know, bunched up? Let's just say. He sees the...
I think he feels like his 33 giant isn't breakable.
It's safe. Yeah, it's safe. Yeah.
Do we have enough here? I mean, you have to finish with a knight. There's like 2.5 archers and 2 riders. I'm not sure he could push through the giant just yet. Instead, yeah, he just chips it.
Yeah, no, it's 2 knights.
Yeah, he goes for an inexpensive siege with a rider, because again, you can't really siege with a giant because you've left his giants in the back. It allows you a very clean unsiege. I don't know about pushing this rider forward as opposed to retreating it, but that's what he goes with. He chips down this giant a little bit.
Maybe he's thinking about like how he can try to avoid a chain with the bounce of the rider, but like he doesn't move his other units in a very fortunate way to avoid a chain.
Like this was already a pretty big line. Moving this warrior here makes it a bigger line into a possible capital siege.
Yeah, if you
So
want
this
like
is-
some tips how you approach these situations where you know you can get chained by a knight and you're playing in a live game and you don't have too much time to figure everything out, I would always try to group like the units in just groups of 2 if possible. And I think he even had the opportunity here, but there were like 1 to 2 unit moves that were off, and that completely killed him.
Yeah, veteran knight siege. We've got not enough stuff, and I don't think there was actually a possible unsiege for him.
Nope.
Yeah, this looks unbreakable. No monument left, and like also no other way to get the extra population, and only 2 units in range of a knight.
Yeah, he's far from his other. I mean, he could capture and but he I don't know, capture and try for an explorer to see if he can get both lighthouses. But I don't think there's too many tiles. I don't think that's possible.
That's a long shot. Yeah,
that's a really long. That's far.
Yeah, I don't think you can cover. I don't think 15 tiles are enough to cover half the map.
So what do you think about this game? Was this last kind of being not cautious with those giants
Definitely
the reason to lose?
I mean, I think it was just a matter of the way that he set up his units. Like there were definitely safer ways to do what he did. Like, you know, move this archer to over here. You know, bring this one down, move this one up. That would have all 3 archers spread out 2 tiles away from each other, so you wouldn't be able to like chain them together. And if he can take out this unit and just build one road underneath this giant, then all of his riders could retreat to like a far enough tile where they wouldn't be able to be chained through any of the archers. So he could absolutely have spread his units out, especially since he can see both knights here and everything else. Like it's very obvious to me that, you know, that Vorce would be able to brute force through an already injured giant, especially when it's next to another one.
Yep.
But yeah, it just wasn't really unsieged as well as it could have.
Like
even moving this archer, you know, like 1 tile away would.
Yeah,
you know,
one road over here. Pull the rider back. Pull it all the way back to here.
Yeah.
And just shift your riders, your archers over just to spread them out a little. It's very difficult to try to calculate exactly whether something can be like, you know, killed or not. And like popping this giant here, I guess made him feel like maybe it was a little safer because he's got 3 giants to brute force through. But they really only needed to sneak around and get to 1.
Yep.
Especially after this hitting this, dropping it to 23. Oh man.
Yeah, like I would even say before this turn, I probably preferred Youve's position over Vorce's.
Yeah, like right up until this last turn, I think Youve was definitely favored because he had 3 giants here, right in Vorce's face, and it was next to his capital. And to win a game of Polytopia, you don't have to take all of your opponent's cities or kill any of their units. The only thing you have to do is capture the opponent capital. That's the only thing. So yeah, Vorce just positioned himself, and Youve didn't have a way to unsiege. So Youve could have had 10 giants left over here, and he would still lose this game as soon as his capital gets taken. And yeah, that was the point where he resigned the game. That was a GG.
Yeah, that's the game. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have still 2 to go.
All right, let me open up this next one.
Yeah, so let's look at the opponent and the players.
All right, so...
Oh, that's the exciting one. Okay.
Yes. So spawning here in the south, we've got Aksh, and spawning in the west, we've got Haruchi.
One question, do we want to call him Aksh or Brainiac?
Oh, I mean, I always go by their in-game names because my
Okay, then
memory is bad.
let's
But we could
say
totally go with
Haruchi.
Brainiac if that's what you want to go with. Like, I'm down. I don't know the guy. If you do, we can go with his preferred name.
I mean,
know,
he
some-
uses both names, so we can just stick to Aksh. But
Okay.
what do you think about this opening for Black Bardur?
I mean, I really, 5 animals, amazing. Very easy, fast, level 3 upgrade. Economically, he should always end up being a bit ahead. Haruchi.
Yeah, like, but if you didn't notice, he actually went for a turn 0 warrior opening in favor of a turn 0 workshop here.
Oh, yeah. That was, I mean, I have been known to be a proponent of T0 Warrior, even in T0 Tribes, and everyone hates me for it, but like, I swear, like, it has its merits. Mainly in that, sometimes you getting to the city 1 turn sooner means you get a city that you otherwise wouldn't get. So there's definitely times, especially on like small maps, where I feel like, yeah, it could make sense. I don't usually do it on dry, but on
but
lake,
this is normal, so it's a big map.
yeah,
No, it's a small map.
this is small. This is a small.
But
Yeah.
he's playing host.
Okay, dryland.
He's
Okay.
playing host against the
Mhm.
turn 0 tribe, so your first warrior can't even get contested on a city. Unless your opponent for some reason also goes for a double warrior opening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, I'm usually all for going for it, but then when he sends the warrior 2 backwards, kind of like sending them both in the same direction, I no longer approve of this move. Like if you're gonna make a T0 warrior as a T0 tribe, you definitely want to spread them out, because the whole goal of it is to get to a city 1 turn faster than your opponent. Like if there was a city here, and you land on it first, and it's against another T0, you win that city for the most part. Sending this one kind of like backwards, I guess he doesn't know for sure where his opponent's spawning. It could be here. Just kind of unfortunate, since they're both heading in kind of the same way. I feel like that neutralized a lot of what you would gain. And especially because you end up falling on turn 2, since you delayed the workshop, you also end up delaying that level 3 upgrade. So, yeah, this maybe wasn't. I love a good T0 warrior because I'm rebellious, but I don't know that it was. I don't know that it was the right play in this scenario.
Yeah, even
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Prove it, then I'm not sure if it can be the correct play in this scenario.
So a rule of thumb in Polytopia is that you have to expand, as quickly as possible. So moving your second warrior back is kind of
and not
weird.
the most fortunate explorer here. He didn't get a meat off of it, I believe.
Yeah, I think he is. Whoops, that is the wrong guy. Yeah, he does an okay. I mean, he's definitely rolling the dice here. Like, it could have gone north first and just revealed his own corner, which is very obviously.
I think he doesn't even take an explorer here. It was who took the explorer.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. He missed this. This was the explorer, and yeah, he did miss the meat. Oh,
Like,
this was reckless. Also, it could also have gone backwards into his own corner.
Yeah, it was a pretty risky one.
What was it this turn? Wait, how do I keep missing this? Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, could go anywhere really.
Yeah, it could have gone any place.
And like, what I also kind of hated was that he didn't take any tech before capturing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was anticipating getting the meeting. I think his opponent was just over 1,000 stars at the time. Was just over 1,000 score. So maybe he was anticipating for sure getting the meeting, and had just quickly calculated that he'd be able to get like the upgrades that he wanted anyway, but wanted to get the explorer faster, which I can understand. I can get behind that. I think that's okay. That part I don't hate that part. Especially for a live game, to make that value analysis that fast. I think that's fine. But yeah, he gets this forward city. There's a lot of fruit here. He definitely needs organization soon. Haruchi also goes for organization here so that he can level 3 his base. I approve of that.
Mathematics, you were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I love math.
Yeah, but like, I have to say, like, all these upgrades with forestry kind of do hurt. Like, you could plan to go for maths, But you probably need organization as a sign here anyways, so you should probably just get organization first. Because A, the attack is cheaper, and B, the upgrades are cheaper as well, because harvesting fruits only costs 2 compared to building a lumber hut for 3.
Yeah, and I think he already had view of this base, which only has fruit visibly. So yeah, I definitely agree that he probably should have gone for organization, because yeah, he has a lot of fruit on the cities that are not going to be contested. He's got what, 3 cities where fruit can do a much better job upgrading. So yeah, I would say not getting org. Also, this really bothered me that he just takes this warrior and slams it into this one. Like, yo, you could have moved north 1 tile, revealed both of these fog tiles, and then then went for the kill. Yo, he's like missing a fog, man.
There's even more micro off in this turn though, right? Because you always want to do the actions that reveal fog first.
Yeah.
Now what he does in the end is moving the warrior west, and now he's on the village. And if you go back, he had a second warrior in range, but he used it to kill the other warrior instead.
Yeah. So realistically, yeah, this warrior should have gone north first to reveal these 3, and this warrior should have gone here to remove these 3, and then he could have made the decision. Instead, just attacking the thing that's right in front of you instead of exploring first. Definitely came back to bite him this time around. Brainiac, where is your brain at?
Yeah, also, like, unlike the other games we've seen so far, we are seeing no military tech early on, which is not very common.
That's true. I'm also, like, since we're getting a double capture here, why didn't we get a tech? Can we
He has
not
math
afford it?
already, so I don't...
Oh, yeah, forestry math. I guess he's good on that.
But in his position, I'm like really worried about the capital, right? Like if Brainiac really like just goes for anything, like riding, whatever. Like he doesn't have vision on what Brainiac is doing.
Yeah, if there had been like a rider somewhere here and he could have afforded roads or just bouncing in, yeah, he might have been able to go for a capital snipe. He's definitely playing very, very greedy. Luckily for him, his opponent doesn't really have anything right now and didn't have enough vision.
By the way, I created a poll in the chat, so feel free to cast your votes. Which game did you like the most? I know we have one more to go, but when you're watching, just give us a note. Which one did you like the most? Sorry.
You heard him, chat. Get to work. Goes for another reckless explorer that could have just explored his own corner. Instead, it goes for
yeah, like also he did it like at the end of the turn instead of before he moved like all the units, right? Like usually you want to do the explorer before moving your other units.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, he also gets some capital siege here, which is like pretty bad.
Yeah, fortunately, his opponent, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting names. Haruchi has enough to pop a giant there. He doesn't quite decide to use the monument to level 3 his one of his other cities, but he is getting units out and getting that fast giant. No, it's not that fast.
He could very well still lose the other city, I think, based on what Brainiac does. I'm not sure how good Haruchi's vision was. Yeah, like he should be scared that there's like something south of the city in the front.
Which one? This one?
No, I'm the sign one, the forward one.
What?
Northern one.
What? Huh?
Yeah, now 2 tiles east and 1 southeast from where you click.
Oh, Gruro?
Yeah, south of Gruro. Like I think that Haruchi maybe is scared that that Brainiac is hiding some kind of unit there, like a rider or something like that could siege the city.
Oh, in the fog. Yeah, I would.
because he was saving a monument. That's I was referencing that. Like, you don't want to give a free monument city to your opponent.
Could be that. Yeah. I mean, he continues to save it.
And now both get riding.
I mean, it's definitely useful for clearing up a lot of these warriors that are out and about. And I think that since Haruchi's got his giant advancing, yeah, going for riding's not bad, because, you know, if it can clean up a lot of little support units, then his giant might be able to actually make a capture, which would be really nice here.
Yeah, but Brainiac needs something different to deal with this. Like, I don't see how he's dealing with the giant right now, right? Like, he got the city advantage, but he's lacking answers to the giant, right? He can't make his own giant.
Yeah, very few
Have
units.
like any ranged units to effectively deal with.
Very few units at all. It's like not only ranged.
Well, he went archery. So he's got his first archer out.
He's at 9 out of 10 kills. Could he have got a killer monument already?
He definitely needs some range or something, though, because he's getting absolutely surrounded here. He gets the killer monument. I don't think he had an available unsiege here, though. I think it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, I mean, you probably would need at least mining or roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a knight for Brainiac would be so juicy here, but it's obviously quite a far stretch still.
Yeah, well, he was able to get two monuments down this turn, but yeah, without one of them, he wouldn't have been able to get the other. So yeah, I don't think there was an unsiege.
Also,
so much tech.
3 techs in one turn.
What did he get? Mining and
climbing
mining roads.
I think one was a ruin, right, in the north.
I don't know. Yeah. So
yes, he discovers roads and then gets climbing mining. Yes.
Yeah.
He also has 2 monuments stored up right now and has used neither so far. Yeah, he could drop them anywhere.
Oh.
I know you're gonna love that.
I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. I also don't like the riders bouncing forward for the extra vision too much, but maybe he thinks he got the game in the bag and is like scared of a knight or something.
Yeah, I mean, it might cost him 1 rider to get vision of the last city, but it can, you know, if it gives him an early warning of a cloak or a knight or something that could like change the game a lot, then I think it was an okay sacrifice for you to feel that comfortable. It's not like you're going to be able to score count this kind of game at this like time, at this speed. I feel like he's not really sure. Haruchi is not really sure how to advance at this point, though.
This border growth, that one. Hey, he got 1 tile at least, right?
Yeah, he border growths, and it goes from this to that. So yes,
yeah,
one tile.
Always 1 population growth here.
I mean, if you know, it means that he can road here and his opponent can't. Oh, sorry. Which one was this? That was this one. Sorry, let me reopen that. Oh wait, this is the wrong game. Wait. Haruchi. There we go. Where were we? Like turn 13
or 14, I think. Yeah, it was 14.
Did I actually call it exactly right?
It's 14.
Oh yeah, 14. Yeah, sorry about that misclick. See, I'm not even playing this on a clock, and I just misclicked from the replay. Yeah, so questionable border growth. I wouldn't have minded it as much if it weren't for like what happens a turn or so from now. Because taking over this little like, you know, hallway, I guess, it does make his position a lot safer. A lot of units, and Aksh gets free spirit.
Yeah, also, what do you think about him still having both monuments?
I love it. I know you love it too. Haruchi gets a siege, not on a big city or anything, but
He also only has to spend 9 extra stars on roads to get a third monument to sit on. So
yeah,
oh, he even does that.
he does, yeah. So he now has 3 monuments available.
Is
But
he
you
going
know,
to use any?
why use them when you can save them? Right? What?
Yeah, but the city tough luck that was sieged, it's actually better for the Black Bardur because they already have mines. So if the siege holds, then
I mean, any city that I feel like any city that Haruchi would be able to get at this point would probably actually solidify the game for him.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of trying to get that. He goes for a little bit extra vision. Not sure if I like that one, but I don't think he would have been able to retreat far enough anyway. I definitely feel like if Haruchi built up a larger force of riders and had a more focused, concentrated attack, you might have better luck.
Or if he had more giants with the monuments.
Yeah, more stuff is better than less stuff. That's true.
Yeah. Pro tip from professional
tips from
players.
professionals.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna point out really quick that Meisterlampe has an in-game elo of like 1850 or something. Like Meister plays this game at a really high level.
Yeah.
So if we tell you, you know, you guys should maybe use your monuments, he might be onto something.
Then you should, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this push to the catalyst looking really
what do
scary.
you think? What do you think about this border growth, Meister?
I mean, this second border growth was good, I think.
Yeah,
it
only
roads,
it only kills me that it would have
first one
gotten this tile
completely
anyway.
And did he use any monuments yet? Or does
No.
he still go free?
No, he still
He
has
still
3.
has all 3. I mean, I think his opponent doesn't have any, but could get one by making like 3 roads. Is there a road under this? Oh, there is. 2 additional roads would get an extra monument for Brainiac also.
Yeah, and then he gets.
Yeah, but he at least placed 2 already, right? He got the Gate of
Killer.
Power.
Yeah, there's the Killer and Spark of Fortune as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying monuments are better in the hands of, in the same way that this city would have been would be good for Haruchi, and it's not doing that much for Brainiac. Getting the monuments is better for Brainiac because he might actually use them. That's all it was going for. We're kind of bleeding out a lot of giants in this area, like the middle of the map. Yeah, I feel like they're fighting over it. But what actually would be a better way to use them, Meister?
Well, I think that they both should prioritize getting knights more, because both their armies are really vulnerable to knights. And then if you combine like a giant push with knights, it's much harder to defend that with catapults or archers, because you have to respect the possibility of getting chained that way. Like just having knights either forces your opponents to make a mistake where he loses like all the units, or it forces your opponent to use the units less efficiently.
Yeah, it feels like we've got 2 fronts that are really hard to advance on. And with the way the map is carved up and the layout of the mountains and the other terrain, yeah, it's very difficult for anyone to actually make a capture. And it feels like they're both kind of bleeding giants into each other, not really sure how to make something stick. Although I feel like from Brainiac's like perspective, I feel like this city up here, Haruchi's easternmost city, I feel like that's the most vulnerable one. So I would maybe start sneaking giants up.
Oh, he gets chivalry, but he couldn't afford a knight yet.
Yeah. He could have gotten the tech next turn, but I think it's fine that he does. I like this.
Yeah, but
this
now he left
inexpensive
all the
siege.
cities open, and he gets like siege everywhere and loses a bunch of stars.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 sieges.
I would have liked climbing also to get this giant onto a mountain.
Or even
Although
a road
actually,
to-
never mind, because there's a lot of catapults still. But we have our first knight made
Yep.
down here in the corner, where I think he's hoping that his opponent can't see it.
But he can.
His
That's
opponent
why
has.
he bounced on all the mountains, right?
This is why we bounce on the mountains. So I would definitely expect that. Yeah, after that, now Haruchi is getting his units very spread out, maybe a little further forward than I would want them to be. Like there's not really that many ways for a knight to penetrate, right? We can't get through this forest or these mountains. So one giant here zones these 2 entryways. Yeah, there's actually very few ways. Like if you place a giant here, where it is, one here, you already have kind of an impenetrable fortress on Haruchi's side. But knight with archer support, able to chain through a lot of units and also
Yeah,
chipping
very
down
good
these
value,
giants.
right? Even though
Yeah.
he was trying to avoid the chain and place all his units really inefficiently, he still got that much value out of a single knight.
Yeah, Brainiac got tremendous value out of that one, and understandably makes an additional one. I think maybe he's hoping that his opponent doesn't see this one, but like we know we saw the bounce, so we know that he can.
Yeah.
I feel like Haruchi could also maybe have defogged this by now. He's had a lot of units sitting around the back near the front waiting to make an attack, but he could have been kind of somewhat passively defogging the rest of his side of the map.
And Haruchi goes
Brainiac has
goes
so
sword
many
turn.
stars right now. Like he can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also because he didn't get climbing, he could actually kill multiple units there.
Yeah, I like the way not having climbing benefited him. Although there were definitely a couple of times where it would have been nice to have the climbing before. So chip this giant.
Are we
twice.
using any monuments now?
Why would we use monuments when we have stuff?
No,
I
still no
think
monuments.
He still has 3 monuments.
He still has all 3 of them, yeah. It's the rainy day fund.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just doing the no monument challenge, who knows?
Yeah.
Yes.
That might be.
Yes, if you complete an entire Polysseum tournament and win it without dropping any monuments, you get special recognition on this channel.
Yeah, and a dinner with Mijuan.
Yeah, and MEISTERLAMPE will, call you to complain. But
you just have to fly to Stockholm, and then we'll organize a dinner with Mijuan.
Yeah, thank you so much for setting that up, Adam.
I don't like that there were no new knights this turn, because now he's down to 0 knights, which reduces his pressure by quite a lot.
Did he have? I mean, yeah, he could have done it. I feel like he's very, very archer heavy right now. Maybe a little more so than he needs to be. He has mathematics too, so he could have made like a single catapult instead. If he's trying to just like get more range damage in. I think he's trying to find a solution for these 2 backline catapults that are protecting these forward bases. But I still feel like knights is probably the better solution to that.
But I think you don't need that many knights. Even like just a few knights just completely change how your opponent has to play the game. Or like even 1 knight.
Yeah. We get a ton of sieges this turn, which is pretty nice for Brainiac.
Yeah, 3.
That's basically everything that he can easily
but
reach.
No new knights once again.
Yep.
Maybe he feels like he can't afford it, or that his opponent doesn't have enough. Because his opponent's not really able to make a lot of units per turn that won't immediately die. Like he can only make 3 new units per turn. So maybe he feels like he's just not going to be able to find value out of it. I don't agree that you wouldn't be able to, but that might have been the mindset that made him decide to skip it. I mean, he is getting all of his sieges in, even with the units that he's got.
Yeah, but there are those giants closing on his capital, and so that's...
But he was just able to kill that giant, right? Like, it was basically just a free kill.
Yeah, he killed it outright. And Brainiac had vision of it also, so I don't know that I would have gone for that siege at all. Maybe just hang on to the giant and get ready. Also, the way that Haruchi splits his giants here instead of committing to try to attack the capital made this push a lot weaker from his side also. There's also way too many archers here. I feel like Haruchi should have just pulled back, defended, and gone for additional tech, like, yeah, knights. Basically, adding knights to his army would make these pushes a lot more functional. Like, there's no way this is going to hold at this point. Like, this giant has been chipped too much on this long journey, and there's too many support units around. But he is pushing back. Like, a few turns ago, Haruchi was triple sieged, and now his front line has advanced forward, which is crazy because it's advancing into, like, mass archer knight.
This right here is like what I think should have been happening the whole time, right? Like, use the knight in support with like archers and riders to efficiently get some value out of it.
Yeah, even bunching together a group of swordsmen, which are harder to chain through, still allows you to chain through it.
Yeah, but we have to say that swordsmen are actually a really good counter to knights. So yeah, they are cheaper and with roads.
Yeah, but if you combine the knights with other units, I don't think that swordsmen actually are that good against knights.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them any kind of direct counter. Yeah, the catapult could have not done what it did. To put it very mildly. Another giant. This giant siege here looks actually kind of dangerous, but I think Brainiac can still unsiege just fine. Yeah. The only good thing about this siege is that it forced this catapult to stay here. So this is one less city that Brainiac's able to produce a unit out of. And sometimes when you're in these late game scenarios where everyone has so many units, he makes a giant here, I think mostly to push off the catapult so that he can produce again. Because not being able to produce out of your cities because there's a catapult on it or something is difficult.
Well, like, let's see when Haruchi finally decides to do something else besides just training 6 swordsmen every turn.
I mean, the 6 swordsmen a turn seems to be working. There's a lot of stuff advancing right now. And Brainiac seems to be struggling to kill things fast enough anymore. Like, he's making his own swords now. Swords, catapult. He can't produce out of here because there's too many units on the field. We've got double giant siege and a capital siege, same turn. Oh, this is so much stuff. Dude, 6 knights at 6 swords a turn seems to actually be doing stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough to.
Oh wait, can he unsiege the city?
Unsiege everything.
He can. One knight just lets him kill basically everything.
He's 1 damage short of saving the city.
Yeah, but the last city will fall. Yeah.
Oh, trade.
Oh, Haruchi picks a trade. Yo, that's got to be game. Trade is going to allow him to just get so rich.
Well, let's see if he places any markets or if he only wants trade to sit on a 4th monument.
Yeah, still no.
If you didn't know, if you hit 100 stars, you get the Emperor's Tomb.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's true.
You could be shooting for that Emperor's Tomb. We don't often get to see that in these live games, so that would be something to show us for sure. Another sword siege.
Yeah.
Should be able to unsiege that. Oh!
Yeah, first monument.
First monument dropped on turn 33.
2 monuments. So no dinner with Mijuan. I'm sorry.
No dinner with Mijuan. It was a valiant effort, though. Why does he still have this? Why has he not advanced this catapult all the way back here? And it's at this point that Brainiac resigns the game. It was too much. I think he just wanted to force Haruchi to use his monuments. And once Haruchi did, I think Brainiac felt that, you know what, I've accomplished everything I wanted to in this game. I'm good.
Yeah, but this was an absolute slaughter. I don't think I've ever seen such a
what a massacre on both sides.
So many giants died and other units. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
opening up game 4.
The last one.
Yeah,
This is
also,
our.
I just saw someone in the chat ask the question: which unit is the best?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's
Which unit
situational.
is the best?
I would say Riders. I'm gonna go with Riders. Riders are the best unit. I'm sorry.
Why?
Well, they can get the most cost efficiency, and there's like versatile. Like you don't go a game without seeing Riders. Basically, you can go a game without really seeing like giants. Like there's some like, you know, very low econ games that are very micro intensive. But Riders are like always a useful unit to have. Like I feel like going riding is almost never a bad choice. Maybe you made it, maybe you went for them before the other thing that you should have gone. But if you know, got the other thing first and get riding second, like that, you know, sometimes that makes more sense. But riding is always there.
MEISTERLAMPE?
Yeah, I think if you're going about like cost efficiency and so on, then Riders definitely come out on top, except if you include like some special units, like for example the Cymanti Shaman, absolutely broken unit.
Oh yeah, Cymanti Shaman is cracked.
Yeah, just increasing the movement of up to 8 units per turn and their damage output. And well, if you want to go about like how a single unit can change a fight, then you definitely also have to consider like what a bomber could do, or
no, you know what the most powerful unit is? The V98 Tridentin. Any of the previous version Tridentins, yo, you could just mass that unit only and win. There's nothing the opponent can do. Version 98 Tridentin. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, so it was escape, right?
Yeah, it could move 2 spaces, shoot 2 spaces, and then also use retreat. And in V98, it could still use roads. So you could move 4 spaces, shoot 2 spaces, and then retreat 4 spaces.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Busted unit.
Yeah, crazy.
That was yeah.
I guess if you can only make 1 unit all game, I would probably even give it to a swordsman.
No. What?
Yeah. But the problem is that never happens, because there are like always going to be like multiple different units. And so in that scenario, I would even pick the knight, because a single knight completely changes how your army operates. Like I wouldn't say that massing knights is the correct play. You probably still want an army mix, but a single knight completely can change how you're allowed to play the game or not.
Yeah, it's a complicated question you've asked, and we're gonna argue about it instead of watching this game. But we're gonna jump in to our final game of the stream. Spawning down here in the west, we have Arthur, and spawning in the north, we have it's Vorce again. So got another Vorce game. This one is a 196, a small map archipelago game.
Yeah, land connected on archipelago, but neither of them knows it yet.
Yeah, land connected on archipelago is surprising. Even like that is unusual.
I think you should disable shared fog now, because now it's like really relevant what either player sees.
Yeah. So we get vision here, and since there's no other cities taken yet, as Arthur would be able to see from score, this has to be the capital. So here on turn 2, Arthur now knows exactly where Vorce's capital is, and because of the shorelines, he knows it's land connected also. Like he can see that this is a land tile. It's possible that it would be a mountain, so that he wouldn't be able to advance over there, but it's entirely possible, with this being water, that there's some other pathway around. So this is going to be a difficult village to hold. Meanwhile, Vorce gets the meeting already on turn 3. Did he take a tech pre-capture?
Yeah, he took archery. I like that a lot. Like if you ask me, what should you do if you're land connected on archipelago? I would never say that the answer is go and make ports like you usually do in archipelago. you should either take archery or riding in most of these instances because they're just such powerful units. So now you might wonder, okay, when do you take archery? When do you take riding? So archery obviously is good if you're not blocked by Vorce. And it's also good if you have some space to position your archers, because if there's like only like a single tile you can place your units on, then you have to use the riders because they can bounce forward and then bounce back again.
Yeah, I would have been okay. I think Vorce had to do a quick calculation. If the city is here or here, either way, an archer could move to here and
He
allow him
needs
to get a
archery,
snipe.
yeah. Riding doesn't deny it close to as well.
No, yeah. If it was riding, he would need riding and like a road to road things around, and he just can't quite afford that yet. So archery, capture,
Why did he not move the warrior forward?
and he doesn't
It's
move
such
the
a
warrior
blunder.
forward. I feel like, yeah, not moving the warrior forward is going to make it a little more difficult for him to snipe here. But I think he's also saying, you know what, I have over 1,000 points now. I don't want to give Arthur 5 stars.
Maybe he didn't want to show him that he took archery.
Yeah. That's true too. Yeah, Arthur would have seen it, but
I would argue now that in Arthur's turn 3, if we go back to that, actually, I wanted to say that I like archery in this position, but he can't do it because he doesn't have unit capacity.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his capital is already full because his first unit is kind of missed on that village until now. But yeah, now we can't really get a quick snipe on that base, although it is still quite surrounded. Arthur sees this warrior here, and he knows that it has archery, so he knows that this is the defense bonus. I gotta say, this start is quite awkward for Arthur. What do you think about him going for fishing here?
Yes, so if he turned Fog of War off, we would know that archery probably would work to defend the village, but with the information that he has, he probably should assume that Vorce got 3 units ready to siege him.
Yeah.
Besides that, okay, so fishing is probably fine then, but I don't like that he placed support before taking the Explorer, because there is a chance that the Explorer will reveal a lighthouse.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Explorer beforehand would have given him the chance. He gets a decent explore. Like, he can see that his base isn't in like immediate threat, or at least, I mean, I guess it could be. He doesn't know if there was another archer there.
No, Vorce was so fortunate with this other land connection.
What with Yeah.
No, I mean that he can, attack from both sides. So that's really fortunate.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that Arthur can do here to prevent a siege.
Yeah, no, that village is absolutely toast.
Yeah, there's nothing. Even if he sat there, yeah, he'd be able to snipe that, move forward. Yeah, no, he wasn't going to be able to defend that with anything other than a defender.
He didn't take the ruin, or didn't step on it, even though he had the
Who?
choice.
Oh, Vorce?
Maybe he was assuming that Arthur could siege.
Could be, yeah. I think that's got to be what it was. I mean, if he had 2 archers or something, then sure. And I don't know if
he has 2 archers, then you're not getting it with another warrior anyways.
That's true.
Interesting Explorer.
Yeah, I don't see what the lighthouse does specifically for him, but all right, and let me turn off shared, or let me turn on shared fog. Yeah, it seems like Arthur's decided that if he's going to win this, it's going to be on the water. And I definitely agree. It would be really hard to advance otherwise. Do you think there's a better way other than naval to advance in Arthur's position?
Like, what are the alternatives? Maybe you could go riding, but you lost the bridge spot, so that's probably not an option anymore.
Yeah, Vorce has the option to build bridges here.
Yeah,
So it would be
exactly.
difficult with any kind of land army because it'd be hard to attack this while still being safe from it.
The problem is that he needs like an answer to the archers. Because like if you have to keep in mind a scout costs 7 stars, while an archer only costs 3, and they basically do the same in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this explorer very unfortunate. He wants to get the lighthouse because that would make his capital giant cheaper.
Yeah,
But
he's still able to get it, and he uses his monument right away like a professional.
yeah, if you didn't know
He's
yet,
an Arctic wolf, so he knows what he do, what to do.
if you didn't know
He's
yet,
I think he's on Team Ronan, Vorce. Oh wait, no, this is
Vorce
Arthur.
is-
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Arthur is an.
Arthur
he's
is.
Arctic.
Yeah, you're right. That's Arctic Wolves. Same team as Meister.
Yeah, and as me.
yeah. So
What
Vorce wanted to
is
get a capital
this?
siege here, but yeah, he moved his warrior next to Arthur's capital, then saw the defender, and so he thought like he uses 3 scouts to weaken the defender and then finishes with the warrior. But a 7 hit point warrior can't actually finish off a 5 hit point defense boosted defender.
Mm.
So he just kind of moves all his units into the juggernaut.
Mhm.
Pretty good moves. Pretty good moves. Hard to calculate that in advance, though. That's one of the things that you have to have known in advance, basically.
Yeah, mathing
have to
is difficult.
You have to have played this game so much that you've been in this situation before. He'll never make that mistake again, unless like a year goes by and he forgets. Which is totally plausible, also.
Do you think landing
I'm not
this
sure.
giant was the right choice for Arthur?
Would you have gone for that move, Arthur? Going for the attempted cap snipe?
In Vorce's position.
Yeah, after moving the 7 HP warrior, do you think you would have done the same
Well, I
thing?
mean,
and
I
tried to
know
strip
that
down?
7 hit point warrior doesn't kill there in the end.
Oh, so you know that off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain the last hit has to be at least 8 hit points. I think it's like 9, 7, 9, 8 or something like
Okay,
that.
let's put that into Poly calculator. I'll tell you right away.
9, 7, 9, 8. Vorce is capturing way too many of these islands. He gets this. I don't know about this explorer either.
But he wants the lighthouse, I think.
Yeah, he gets the lighthouse. I don't know if.
And he likely loses the city if we look at the position, but maybe he shouldn't use the port then.
Yeah, he could have made a wall here.
I think I know what's happening. Look at his capital.
Mm-hmm. Does he not have forestry? He does. So he could have gotten a giant.
Yeah, but it gets him the bazaar as well.
Yeah.
And
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, he also uses both monuments here, right? Like that's a good play. He uses both monuments.
Meister approved.
So a 7 HP warrior when attacks a 5 HP defender with the defense bonus, the defender stays with 1 HP. So
Meister's saying what happens if your warriors attack a defense boosted defender and the warrior healths are 9, 8, 9, and
no, it's 9,
9,
7,
7,
9,
9, 8.
Okay.
Does that kill 9, 7, 9, 8?
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's also like the minimum value you need on each hit.
Okay. So 7 definitely doesn't kill.
7 definitely does not kill.
Mm-hmm.
Vorce learned that the hard way. We just learned that the long way.
Yeah.
If you okay, so Arthur takes control of this island.
Yeah, he's going really aggressive with these sieges. I'm not sure if those sieges are worth it because he sacrifices a rammer to deny like 5 stars of income or 6. I'm not sure if that's
I think 6. We've got a workshop on this one. So 6
stars.
Yeah,
But
even then,
like also damage that could go into the Juggernaut, for example.
yeah. Well, he also it's denying the 6 stars but killing the warrior. So it's, let's see, warrior 2 stars, and this city is producing 6. So it's 8 stars for 8 stars. So it's an even trade. But yeah, I definitely agree that Arthur needs a little bit better than an even trade right now. Because like Vorce just has bigger cities, he's got a little bit more economy, and he's gonna get
And
another.
the Juggernaut also is getting good value there with the splash damage.
Yeah.
And now Arthur kind of lacks reinforcements because he was population capped for a while in like most of his cities.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
I mean, if he was getting close to pop capped, then forcing the kill of these units, like forcibly trading out units, might have actually been beneficial. Like, because if he's not able to make replacement units, then there's not really a point. Although I feel like some of his cities could maybe have been made taller instead with some of the cost savings. I don't know. He's getting a lot of these sieges though, and he does seem to be bleeding Vorce's army dry.
yeah, right now only 9 stars of income this turn because of all the sieges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. Even with those 9 stars, though, he's able to pop that giant. This city's still 1 star in the red.
But do you see
Vorce
how
is
many
chopping.
monuments are in the city?
We got all of them. All 3 of Vorce's monuments have gone towards this city. Here, Arthur starts to pull back because he's kind of his attack has run out of steam.
And he's like forced to upgrade weak rafts into rammers, which isn't really what he wanted to do, right? Like 7 HP instead of 15 HP.
Yeah. I mean, having ramming tech at all is kind of the main thing that Arthur has going for him right now. Border growth, picking up a lot of fish, so he'll be able to pop another giant there.
Yeah, but again, like Vorce constantly gets like these traits where he uses archers against scouts. And like that's just so much better for the archers because they cost less than half.
Mm.
Yeah. Vorce is just getting too much efficiency, so at this point Arthur resigns the game. I think he doesn't really have an available way to unsiege this base when the giant sieges it next turn.
Mm-hmm. But I would say that this was close to.
This was
like
close, and this was a pretty well executed game from Arthur and Vorce's sides. Like they did a lot of it's hard to get like perfect micro on things like whether you're able to siege this capital or not. But overall, like Vorce was really good about extracting value out of his units. Like he had a slightly superior economy, but just the cost efficiency that he got with his archers, and also just with I feel like his specific mix of scouts and juggernauts were able to just get more efficient damage. But also just getting Vorce made 4 giants this game. I think Arthur was only able to make 2, and Arthur's were kind of trapped around here where they were forced to go here. They weren't actually able to contest the water heavy area where juggernauts are a little bit stronger. Like giants are good all around, but on an archipelago map, if they're in like the open water, then they'll be able to splash more things, control the movement of units more. It's better to have them in the open seas than in like this like small corridor where they're kind of funneled into an area that's full of archers and admittedly a capital. And if Arthur was able to get the capital, then that would have been GG. But as it is, his giants weren't in the right places. It was a little harder for Arthur to macro his bases. And Vorce takes the victory.
Is there anything that Arthur could have done differently and win?
Better, right?
What? What?
He could have spawned better.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Part why Vorce won here also was
my point.
Got with 6 cities, and like 6
Yeah.
cities is a very crucial number because it
Mhm.
unlocks a monument, the Grand Bazaar, which
Mhm.
usually helps you to pop like an additional giant.
But
Yeah.
also, it's about the
Major
setup,
skill issue not having a
about
city on one of these tiles.
the setup. So this
Mm-hmm.
5th city that Arthur has, this is far away from his mainland, so it's not just about the number of cities, but also
Mhm.
how they are placed. And yeah, so
I mean,
would say it was a bit of a spoiler.
realistically, I say Arthur could have used his like navy a little bit better. Like, this is a defensible like little bay here from either side. Like, units here on land or units here on land would prevent them. So both of their capitals are kind of protected from like the
Mhm.
main body of water. And if you look at it, it's not like any of Arthur's cities don't have access to this main area. So I feel like if he
Mhm.
maybe cut down on the units that he had and used around his capital, or tried to like set up something to like more efficiently defend this area, then he
Mhm.
could have funneled 100% of his like of his remaining population into the main area, main body of water, and maybe he could have gotten something done that way. Because like this city, Gulen, is actually Vorce's only really like attackable city. I feel like the other two just can't really be assaulted just because of the way the terrain is set up.
Mhm.
And because like Vorce already has archers, like there's too many changes of like water to land in these lines. So it would be really, really hard to attack into Orkark or into Vorce's capital. Whereas this city, since you have water leading all the way up to here, you have basically water on 3 sides. If you can get naval control of the main body of water, you'd actually be able to attack into the city and maybe capture it. Like this was the attack point. And I feel like maybe Arthur could have focused more resources on that, but he would have had to find a cheaper way of defending his capital. So
Okay.
I think what Arthur did probably would have worked against a weaker opponent. And it's probably like one of the better strategies you can go for here. But I think there would be one other option you have, which is like Arthur got quite a lot of control towards Vorce's capital. And maybe it would be possible to go for cloaks in Arthur's position to cloak Vorce's capital. Maybe that's a bit of a far stretch, but I feel like that's like one alternative.
talking about like
that
around here.
Yeah,
he had
he
his.
has like the giants pushing in,
Mhm.
and then you could maybe go cloaks behind.
Yeah, because he already had he did not have.
You're on the wrong tech tree.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that would help. That would help. Okay.
Yeah, so he already had defenders. Yeah, so cloaking. Yeah, that might have worked.
I mean, one cloak would have costed an entire turn's economy. I think, when he was in this position, he had naval superiority by a lot. So I think it would have been difficult to like abandon the only apparent advantage that he has, which is gaining he's got 6 ships in the water here. Vorce has a scout and a raft that's not even in territory. Everything else is going to take a long time to get in. I feel like, yeah, this was probably he didn't even have this island yet. Like, he was kind of forced into navy for a bit. So if he was gonna get diplomacy, it would have delayed that. Like, maybe if he knew he wasn't going to be able to win the naval battle ahead of time, then maybe it would have made sense to try for more of an all-in approach, like going for diplomacy and trying to get a cloak for the capital. But I feel like from this position, it looked like it could have been favorable for him to just stick with trying to get naval superiority. I mean, he was able to capture this one city, which I think was like the bare minimum to keep him in the game at all.
Yeah, I think I agree with that decision. I'm just saying that there is a possibility of this alternative approach. And if you're talking about okay, what could he have done? That's one thing I could think of, but would have worked.
Yeah. There's always options in a game of Polytopia.
Yeah.
Basically what it comes down to.
Okay. Thank you guys for commenting. It was great to have you as always.
Thank you, Adam.
we closed our poll. I actually changed it because of this last game, so the people would not catch up. So I changed it to which Bardur do they like better? So Bardur, the regular one, or the Berghoff? And apparently the regular Bardur has more fans. So 76 to 23%.
I also am a fan of Bardur Classic.
Okay.
As opposed to the Bardur Bear form.
Okay. No, I like both. I think that especially the graphics of the bear Bardur are like, they look cute.
Maybe it's a nostalgia thing, but I also prefer the musical score of the original Bardur more so than the kind of growling, gurgling music that comes with the new Bardur skin.
Anyway, so it was a good live stream. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back next month with Yadak Polysseum this time. You can still join the tournaments. It's like 10 days still, so you can still.
Tournaments are free to enter.
Through the challenger mode. The link is in the description, so feel free to take part in the fights and win the Polysseum. So have a good evening, have a good day, depending on where you are at on this planet, and see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.